Some people move through life constantly checking themselves, not because they want attention, not because they lack confidence, but because they learned early that fitting in required effort. This reflection is for those who adjust themselves quietly so others feel comfortable. You don't need to agree with everything. Just notice what feels familiar. Always adjusting yourself for others doesn't start as a weakness. It starts as awareness. You notice moods, you sense tension, you feel when something is off. So you soften your voice, you change your tone, you hold back opinions, you choose words carefully, not to manipulate, but to maintain peace. Over time, this becomes automatic. You don't even notice how much of yourself you are editing. You adapt in conversations, you adapt in friendships, you adapt at work, you adapt in family spaces. You become flexible, understanding, easy to be around. And people appreciate that, but rarely ask what it costs you. When you're always adjusting, you learn to read rooms quickly. You know when to speak, when to stay silent, when to laugh, when to disappear slightly. This skill is praised. You're called mature, considerate, emotionally intelligent. But inside, there is often a quiet exhaustion because you're constantly managing yourself, not living freely, not expressing fully, just maintaining balance. You start to notice that other people get to be themselves without thinking twice. They speak impulsively, they take space, they express emotions freely, and you wonder why you feel responsible for everyone's comfort. Often, this habit was formed early. Maybe you learned that conflict was unsafe, that expressing too much caused problems, that being easy kept things calm. So you adapted. And adaptation worked. It kept things smooth. It kept you included. But it also taught you to prioritize harmony over honesty. Always adjusting yourself can slowly disconnect you from your own needs. You stop asking, what do I want? What do I feel? What matters to me? Because you're focused on what do they need? What will make this easier? What will keep things peaceful? This doesn't happen suddenly. It happens in small ways. You laugh when something hurts. You agree when you don't. You stay quiet when you want to speak. And later, you feel tired without knowing why. That tiredness isn't physical. It's emotional. It comes from holding yourself back again and again. People who constantly adjust often feel misunderstood, not because others don't listen, but because they never hear the full version of you. You show a filtered self, a manageable self, a softened self. And then you wonder why you feel unseen. The truth is, people can only see what you allow them to. But allowing yourself to be seen feels risky when you've spent years adjusting. You may fear being too much, too honest, too different. You may worry that if you stop adjusting, you'll lose connection. But connection that requires constant self-editing is fragile. It depends on performance, not presence. There is a difference between being considerate and disappearing, between flexibility and self-erasure. You don't need to become harsh to stop adjusting. You don't need to change your nature. Awareness is the first shift. Noticing when you are shrinking, noticing when you are holding back, noticing when you say yes out of habit, not desire. You don't need to explain yourself every time you choose differently. You don't need permission to take up space. People who are used to you adjusting may feel uncomfortable when you stop. That discomfort does not mean you're doing something wrong. It means the dynamic is changing. You are allowed to speak without rehearsing, to express without apology, to exist without managing reactions. Not everyone will respond well, but the right connections will feel easier,
not heavier. When you stop adjusting yourself for everyone else, you begin to hear yourself again, your preferences, your limits, your truth, and that reconnection is deeply grounding. You don't lose your kindness when you stop adjusting. You reclaim it, because kindness that includes you is sustainable. If you've spent your life adjusting, be patient with yourself. This habit kept you safe once. It helped you survive. But survival is not the same as living fully. You don't need to disappear to belong. You don't need to be smaller to be accepted. You don't need to adjust yourself to be worthy of connection. The right spaces won't require you to bend at all. And when you find them, you'll feel it immediately. Not as excitement, but as relief. A quiet sense of ease that tells you, you can be here as you are.